This is Avocado from AvocadoMeat TV. I'm here with Chase, also known as TekkChase. We're here at Heavy/Havok 14. So Tech, I've seen you around here as a regular at showdowns here. When I do show up here to Heavy Slash as a regular playing Strive. So talk to us a little bit. I guess let the viewers know what your story is. How did you find this scene? And what motivated you to come and join your local, I guess, to support your locals, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. I've been playing fighting games, I say my whole life, but ever since I was a little kid. Started with Mortal Kombat, grew up with that, and I've only ever played against friends and online a little bit. But recently when Strive came out, Strive was my first Guilty Gear game, but I had been burned by MK11 and MK1, MK1 now recently, but I just wasn't really feeling it with fighters, and when Strive came out, it looked like it was going to be pretty cool, so I figured I'd give it a shot, and I fell in love. And so I actually got into that game pretty serious, got into ranked a little bit, and I really wanted to kind of just play outside of my circle. I wanted to check and see if there was like other people online, maybe there was an online community at the very least here in our hometown, but I watched a lot of like top players and stuff like that. And one of the big things that they would always harp on would be find your locals, go play people, like get out of your little bubble and expand your horizons. And so I just jumped on Google. I was like, are there any FGC scenes in Lubbock or whatever I could think of in the Google search? And I came across a random Reddit post that InRet had posted back in 2023 for Mad Hatters here. And I just called the phone number, asked if they still held them. They said yes, and I showed up that next Wednesday. And I spoke with Chloe. They were the first person that I spoke with coming to this scene. And they just started yapping about Strive. I was like, I'm here for Strive, and the rest is history. I've been having a blast coming to these, playing Strive, and I'm trying to get into Tekken now. So.
Oh yeah. I was gonna ask you about that. How are you doing so far, like, and with that? Because I know you're mainly a Guilty Gear player, but not just playing a different game, but playing like the third dimension. Like, how are you adapting so far? How are you do you plan on sticking with it, or is this just like something you want to like play for fun and then just main Strive?
To answer your question about how am I adapting to Tekken, I'm not. It's very hard, but I will say that I'm really enjoying my time in Tekken. Right now, it's more of just I'm investing enough time in it to kind of stay warm. I enjoy playing the game.
Yes.
I don't know at this point if I want to be more consistent in the game to be at more of a competitive level of type of player for Tekken. Yeah, and of course, with like the kind of vibe going around it in its current state, a lot of people are waiting for season 2. I think I'm going to kind of, follow that vibe as well and see where we go. But I definitely want to keep playing it, if anything, for casuals. And I wanted to kind of segue with that statement into what you had mentioned about playing with other people. Playing online and ranked is one of the things that you love it or you hate it. It can be real crappy or it can be really good. And it really just depends on the networking. MK1, not great networking.
I don't know. Keep going.
It was bad. Yeah. But the thing is in my personal experience, and I think I can speak for a lot of different people too, is the best way to learn a new fighting game in general, whether it be like mechanics or your character or just getting into it, is play long sets with other people. It doesn't need to be sweaty. It doesn't need to be super serious. It just needs to be, first to 10, first to 20, or you and a friend go into a lobby or a group of friends like we have here, and just have like a private lobby and play long sets. It's really hard to go into a ranked anything when it's, best of 3 or whatever, because you can't adapt. If you go against a player in a matchup you don't know anything about, and you've only got three matches to try and figure it out, you don't learn anything. And then a lot of people like to one and done. I know that's like a bad thing in ranked Tekken and stuff.
Lately, it's gotten so bad. In Tekken, I was one match away from ranking up, and the Yoshimitsu player I was playing, it's on my Twitter, you can find it, right when I hit Rage Art, because he was trying to helicopter spam me into winning, I hit the Rage Art, and I gave me armor to hit him, and as soon as I touched him, he pulled the plug. pulled the plug on PCs, which was so fast. I give him props for being able to
Bro,
do it
hit
that
that frame
fast.
one Alt F4.
How
I know
fast?
how
Like
that
he was
is.
just ready, man.
And to play off of that too, you need the consistent play time. Like the consistency is going to be one of the best things that you can have, and it's just way better, like 10x better when you play it with people that you're cool with or that you know when you have friends. And I think that finding that here with this group of people, even though I'm not even a top player here at these locals by any stretch of the means, but that doesn't keep me from wanting to continue coming to these, and because I know that the people that I play with genuinely do want to help and give advice, and they may knock me out in bracket, but they'll turn right around and say, hey, I noticed you were doing this, maybe do this, or this doesn't work in this matchup. It's those, I think, are the most valuable things that when it comes to learning a new fighting game, if you can find those, that just makes the experience just so much better than just grinding ranked against strangers that one and done you or whatever.
That was the biggest step for me, was just getting out in public and meeting people that are in the same scene as me. And it is nerve-wracking, because now there's a huge difference between online, you're anonymous, be as toxic as you want. I'm not saying I'm like that, but it happens. But that doesn't exist offline. Like offline, it's always super respectful, very humbling, and very rewarding when you get that win. Like I played in uni just now. I didn't win, but I went 3-2 like in my first match, and I don't really play uni, so that rewarding feeling of just learning as you're going, as you were saying, just jumping right in. Do you have any advice for players that are new to the scene? Because I'm very new to Guilty Gear. I would love to have some sets with you to kind of learn. What advice would you have to new players trying to pick up games that are already like railed in, like locked in on other games like Tekken and such, like breaking out of that bubble?
I think the easiest and most efficient way to do that, and the most welcoming way, is to, like you said, I'm curious about X title. You know, I've got experience in this title, but I really kind of want to test my mettle in anime fighters.
Yeah.
I would say, hey, you already took the first step in seeking out other people who play the game at your locals. Find out if there's like a Discord, or if anybody even wants to just send a Steam invite or something, or PS5 friend invite, and set up private lobbies. I know even and that I would say that even goes to new players who are new to the genre altogether. If you even have an inkling of curiosity about fighting games, but are super scared of getting into them because of like the high skill ceiling, and it's 1v1, no teammates to blame your losses on. When that screen says you lose and the announcer says you lose, like, it's real. It kind of hits home. It really drives the fact home that you are a lesser player, which you're not. You just got outplayed. That's really all it was. It can be intimidating, but I think the best and most efficient way to get into even a new fighting game, if you have a foundation in a previous title, or if you're new to the genre altogether, is to, I think the hardest part is not even playing the game. It's finding people who share that interest, and then being open to request some, friendlies or casuals at your local, or setting up a private lobby and just getting some reps in. I think that's the best way to do it across the board. Obviously you want to get in your tournament sweat matches, and you want to get those nerves and get used to all that kind of stuff. But I would say find some friendlies, find some friends, get some private lobbies, run some casuals and some long sets, and everything else just kind of comes in.
But I was going to ask about the tournament scenes that are here, because you're here at Heavy/Havok, which is a bi-weekly. It is an official tournament. What goals do you have? Because I know you're even though you call yourself, you said you're not a top player, you're still very good. Like watching, it's always a joy watching you play. That mirror match over there with Season was just a joy to watch, and stressful. Yeah, you can tell y'all are both sweating in there. But like, what goals do you have in this scene? Because the new year's just starting, new games are coming out. Season 2 of Tekken is coming out. Like, what plans do you have for yourself, or for your small bubble or your current scene?
I guess I really haven't thought about plans and structuring them out. I think I'm just kind of going and flying by the seat of my pants. But as far as goals are personally, my goal when coming here was just to see if there were other people to play the game with. Like hard stop. I didn't care if they were celestial players or they were tournament players or, I didn't really care the skill level. I just wanted to be around like-minded people and to see if we had a scene here. I grew up in the arcades when I was a kid. So it was always just playing games with people. It was always another real life person, and I really missed that scene.
Right
Yep, walking around, a little 9-year-old me walking around with pockets full of quarters, and I really missed that. And whenever I found out that Lubbock had a scene, it was that all over again. I wanted to reignite that nostalgic feeling and play fighting games with real life people. And when I showed up, it was a very pleasant surprise. As long as I kept showing up, it was a pleasant surprise to see that I improved in Strive, gameplay-wise, so much better and so much faster than I did just grinding ranked. Because I was unafraid to ask questions, or I was unafraid to, hey, do you want to run a couple of casuals before your next bracket set or something? And you had mentioned Season. If it wasn't for Season helping me out with a lot of Giovanna tech, I don't think I would have improved as much and as fast as I have. But that's all thanks to being consistent here and looking out for these locals. But I would say my personal goals would be, now that I've been established here as kind of a regular, is, and I think this would be advice too for people like obviously you want to have big goals, but you want to have small ones that you can meet while you get to like your big goal. And my goal would be to, maybe take one of these top players out and beat them in bracket. I think that would be a really, really good kind of, it's way out there for me. Like, it's not even within, sight, but, I'm no longer getting 0-3'd by these top players. It's, 1-3 or, like with the one with the Season for the first time. Yeah, progress. A dub for me today was, I wasn't completely washed by Seasoned. It was 2-3 Season. So it was, it was tough, it was stressful, but it was fun as hell. And it's really fun, and I think it's very invigorating to see yourself to progress in that state, as long as you keep that mindset. Like, don't ever weigh your success or your progress on the amount of wins you can get against somebody, or how many times do you have to lose against somebody before you take a win off of them. You always want to find like those small victories. And even though I didn't beat Seasoned in bracket, I was still doing better than I had done before. And that's the dub for me.
But I did notice when we see you here, you've got your like a Mortal Kombat mug with you. Yeah. Well, so what's your story like? Because a lot of people, like, a lot of their stories, they start off like in MK and they'll like branch out to other stuff. Like, so what's your story, I guess, with MK? Because the MK scene here is very small, unfortunately. But where did that start with you? Like, was it the characters, the lore? Because you came from the arcade era, and MK was, you could hear that arcade machine like from across the room. Like,
I hear it in my
so
sleep.
Yeah. So I guess tell us, like, how did that start for you? How did you get into fighting games, like, in general?
So when I was a little kid, I think the first MK came out in 1991. 92.
Yeah.
So that would make me, I would be 6. And my older brother actually would take me to the arcades. We used to have an arcade here in our mall called Jolly Time. And he would take me to the arcades after he got paid, and he would, give me a bunch of ones, and I would go get quarters, and then I would walk around Jolly Time, and I'd play games. Well, Mortal Kombat came out in 92, and it was a smash hit. And we were there the day Jolly Time got the cabinet, and just the crowd of people around it, and the sound effects, and just everything that MK Classic is known for. It was electric, and I fell in love immediately. And I remember the only reason I picked my main is Scorpion, by the way. I love Scorpion. But the only reason Scorpion is my main is because when my brother bought the game for Sega Genesis and we brought it home and we were playing it, I wanted to pick the Blue Ninja because my favorite color is blue. But he liked blue, so he wanted to pick the Blue Ninja, and he said, "You can't pick the Blue Ninja." I picked him first. I said, "But you can pick the same character." And he goes, "No, you can't pick the Blue Ninja. Be the other ninja." And so I picked the other ninja, and the rest is history.
Well, we'll wrap this up. But thank you so much, TekkChase. Great insight. I'd love to hear more, but my phone's about to die. But if there's anything you want to plug, I don't know if you've got like a social or a YouTube channel or anything, go ahead and plug it now. Where can we find you?
I don't really have any socials. I got a YouTube channel, nothing on it. I think I got one video. But it's just TekkChase, TekkChase at YouTube.
まあね、ジャガーに毛が生えた程度だったけど。